Hey guys, welcome back. This is Spartacus Gaming coming to you today with a new review for Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14. Today we're going to be reviewing the Diplomacy Strategy and Expansion Pack bundle, including some of the DLC that was recently released for the game. So the first thing to go over here, and we're just going to start from the start screen and work our way in and kind of just review everything as we go. The first thing is the new editing functions. So here in the editor, there are multiple new functions that have been added in editing events, editing historical specialties, and editing original specialties. I haven't really dived too deep in this, so my review is going to be very, very simple. Basically, if you like editing the game, you've got an expansion here. I, for one, don't care about editing the game. I like to play as is, but if you're into that kind of thing, want to create, difficulty level and so on and so forth for yourself or make the game easier, this is definitely something to dive into. And it is, part of it, I believe part of it is included in the expansion pack. One of them is a DLC for 450, I think $4.50, something like that. Next up, we have the War Chronicles here. This is something that I am very, very happy about. These are little skirmish maps on multiple different scenarios, and you get to choose a force, dive in, and basically what it is the map is not full of cities, so on and so forth. You're restricted on the territories that you can take. So it's just a few cities. It's a skirmish, basically. And, you have a victory conditions, defeat conditions. So the goal is to meet your victory conditions without losing. And it is ranked, so you can get ranks between D and S. So this is something very, very interesting. Expect content to be released from me on these types of scenarios. I really like this stuff. This is very fun. It's difficult, and it's a nice addition to the game. So now we're going to go ahead and dive into the game here. Now, there have been some fundamental changes to the way we're going to be playing the game from here on out if you do decide to pick up the expansion pack. One of those fundamental changes are geographical advantages. So there are multiple different geographical advantages around the map based off of provinces you take. So, for instance, if you end up taking U province, you get Wuhan Friend, giving you the ability now to deal with the Wuhan in diplomacy and stuff like that. We'll get into the tribes here in just a minute, but there are a lot of different abilities and geographical advantages that seem to be excellent. I really like the fact that they added in these geographical advantages. Playing a little bit into the game, I haven't dove in really, really deep. I've spent a few hours just testing stuff and seeing how everything is. And some of these geographical advantages are very, very powerful and really will change the style of gameplay into trying to consolidate provinces immediately and spending the time trying to get that. For instance, this is one of my favorites here is the Zoo province. Attack from bases by your force are strengthened by 20%, and the amount of durability restored is increased by 20%. So basically making your bases stronger, and you don't have to defend them as heavily. There's a lot of different little ones. Um, for instance, trade that will be coming, we'll be going over here shortly. Foreign relations improved by improvement is increased by 150% of its normal value. That's fantastic. And there's a lot of different stuff. I highly recommend before you start a game is really looking over this, deciding where you start and seeing what you get. This is an excellent addition to the game. It adds another layer of depth, really, pushes you to consolidate provinces, which is really helpful in the game anyways. Next up, we're going to be looking here at the new tribes. So there are quite a few new tribes. I'm just going to focus on one for right now. I have dealt with about 3 or 4 of the tribes in the game so far, and they all have very unique abilities. Um, so you basically treat these like an additional force, but you can't be in alliance with them or anything like that. You send them gold through the goodwill command, and you slowly start building up a relationship with them, getting benefits as you go. Which one of those benefits, which is huge to me, is including officers. So if you're ever officer starved and you can develop a relationship with these tribes, you can get extra officers, and quite a few of them, in fact. And most of them have just basic abilities. They can't be trained or anything like that. But the nice thing is that from what I've seen, they can all march around 20,000 troops, and it makes them a distinct advantage. And then on top of that, they all have a special formation, and that formation is very, very, very fast. From what I've seen so far. I haven't done Nanman yet, but the Wuhan, Zaibai, and one of the other ones, they all are very quite quick, and they all have distinct advantages. And it seems to be in mountains mostly, from the ones I have seen. So they're actually really quite good. The only issue with them is you can't train them in anything, and also a lot of them are reckless and stuff like that. So it's hard to control them a little bit, but they do move fast, and in a pinch, they can really make a difference in battle. There's a lot of different events that go along with these tribes. You can use attack requests, build friendship with them, deepening friendship. Basically, you start getting officers, and then they start actually giving you troops later on. I don't know if there's really anything beyond that. I haven't spent enough time in the game to really find out. But being friends or subduing these guys is a very distinct advantage in the game when you're in these territories, and you have the, specifically if you have the geographical advantage in the game. So that is a nice, interesting layer that they have added in the game. And if you are going to make friends with these tribes in the game, I would highly recommend it. You get the geographical advantage with them so that you can build that friendship easier. Building friendship with them is not hard. You just basically send them gold, just like you would when you're forming any other alliance. My only issue with it is that it becomes very, very repetitive, specifically when you're trying to get up to trusted. You're just really just, constantly doing it, sending on envoys over to them, and trying to develop a friendship with them. So it's very nice. I will tell you, I was practicing just playing around with them, and down here at the Shanyu, I was able to get these guys to start attacking, and they can make a very, very, very big hole in the enemy forces. I mean, they will march 60,000 troops out and really change the flow of battle. So it's really nice when you're trying to attack a big city and stuff like that. You can definitely get a very big advantage by getting these guys to attack another force. So next we have another interesting addition into the game. There are new facilities to unlock. Now there's three of them that are really, really, really interesting because it gives you a new way to build defenses, and that is wire ropes, falling rocks, and firing platforms. Now I've tested these out, and it is decent. The wire ropes basically you can use in game to build a barrier on water. So you can really start trying to funnel enemy forces where you really want them to go with these wire ropes, or you can basically cut off an entire area. Falling rocks are really interesting. You can get units into these falling rocks multiple different ways, and it will cause damage. Not the best, but up in the mountains, it could definitely make a huge advantage. And same with the firing platforms. The firing platforms seem to be primarily built on mountainsides, and they are basically arrow towers from what I've seen. It's not a significant huge amount of damage. I don't think it's the same as a catapult tower, but overall it gives you the ability to build them in mountains and to, build defensive points on those areas. So it is a nice little addition. It definitely increases the ability to defend your areas and stuff like that, but also expect the enemy to use them and redefend their areas with them. So another thing I wanted to go over real quick was just the AI changes. There seem to be some really nice subtle changes to the AI. I was playing as Yuan Shu, and I can't really demonstrate it because I didn't record it at the time, but one of the things I noticed is the enemy is less likely to suicide their troops If they know they're not going to win, they will run away. For instance, I set up a situation up here in the north where I had a bunch of arrow towers right here, and I had a enemy force marching troops out of Jai, and he wouldn't go all the way in and suicide himself. He had to actually retreat. So there have seemed to be some minor AI improvements in the game. I would have liked to seen a lot more improvements to the AI. Definitely, much more intelligent AI on tactics and stuff like that, when to attack and so on and so forth. I did notice though that I was getting attacked more at my weak points than my strong points. So, building defenses is going to be a little more important because they will attack your weak points, but it's not, game breaking change to the AI for the new expansion pack. Next, I'd like to go over the foreign technologies in trade. So, as you conquer certain provinces, you'll gain access to trade with multiple different factions out in the world. One of those is Daquin, which is Rome. Seems to be the most powerful of them all, specifically because of this tactic, which is the catapult formations can now attack from a distance, which is huge. Meaning that your siege weapons don't need to be right up in there. They can come in behind and make an attack. There's a lot of little nice increases on a lot of the tactics, technology. You get special abilities. There's a lot of nice little things here with the trade. You can acquire items in these technology levels, and it's I've only done it up to a certain point. I've actually acquired level 2 in a couple of the games that I've just tested out. It does take a long time to do. This is an ongoing thing that you're going to be participating in, and just sending guys out for hundreds of days to go out and perform these trades. You'll spend a lot of gold doing it and stuff, but a lot of the benefits are definitely worth it, and spending the time and doing that during the game is excellent. So it's a nice little addition. It's not game breaking, but yes, it is a great addition to the new content. Another addition to the game has been these new traits and tactics that they've added in. I have yet to find all the officers with all these traits. I think some of these do come from the tribes. There are some really interesting ones after going over and reading all of them and stuff like that. So there may be some really nice additional traits that are added in. I think that some of these are the ones that you get from trade. I know War Elephants, I believe, is going to be from trade also. This may actually be through Nan Man too. I'm not quite sure. I know Elephant Soldier is Nan Man. Bold is one of the other ones. War Chariot is Wuhan, I believe. But there's a lot of nice little benefits that are going to come into the game, adding another layer of gameplay. So let's dive into what I actually think about all the content combined here and really give the review. So the price I paid for all the content was around 40 something dollars. That's without season pass. I don't buy the season pass. I just pay for everything straight up. Season pass, of course, will be cheaper, but overall, I think there's a lot of stuff that's just missing. The expansion pack is definitely great. I'm going to play it. Everything from here on out will be expansion pack based. But really, I think the price could have been a lot lower for the expansion pack for really the content we got. If you've read any of the reviews on Steam or any other forums, they're pretty negative. And I can see why, due to the fact there's just not a ton of content. But I think one of the things that the real negative reviews are missing is that a lot of these changes did change the way the game is played. You have to look at things just a little differently and take advantage of some of the new content. So overall, I'm going to give this whole entire expansion, a 6 out of 10. It could have been a lot better for the price. Basically it's the price of an entire new game, and it's really not an entire new game. There's definitely new stuff, and the fundamentals changed, but it's not something brand new. It's not a sweeping change to the game. So unfortunately, it's not my best review, but I'm excited to play it. Being a huge fan, like I'm sure some of you guys are, is go ahead and get it. It's definitely worth to me to get it just so I have the updated game. Everything's new, and there's definitely some great new styles of gameplay and stuff like that that are going to come into play. Specifically, the War Chronicles. I'm really really excited about doing those skirmishes. So it's 6 out of 10. I couldn't really justify going any higher just based on price. I think if the pricing was about $15 for this expansion, I would have probably given it an 8 out of 10 for the price. But it's decent and it's going to be fun. I'm going to start making my content again now that it has been released. I've been holding off for the last month just for this release before I started making new content for the game. So look forward to here to the next few days to start seeing a new campaign come out. I'm going to be mixing in those War Chronicles in the middle and trying to go and shoot for those S ranks. And that's it. So go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the review. I'm going to be also releasing, I think, some new tactic videos and really diving into some of the new tactics as I play through the next campaign. So you guys have a wonderful day and take it easy.